Can't make amends without making a sound, but I'm not okay.
How did you come up with The Hill I Die On? That song's a masterpiece. Girl, I don't know. Okay. The Hill I Die On, I wrote a few days before I wrote Blonde. They both came to me in the same week. It was a tough night. I wrote this song about the events of November 8th, 7 p.m. Yeah, Hill I Die On was one of those songs, and I used to not be a believer in this, I'm gonna be very honest. I consider myself a very spiritual person overall, but I've always heard the saying that all songs are already exist and they're just waiting for the right person to find them and write them and create them. I was kind of like, okay, let's settle down. But this was one of those songs that felt like it was begging to come out of me. It was the first time I'd ever felt so much. It was the first time I've ever cried while writing a song, which is crazy to say, but I also, this is insane. It's all coming back to me now. Hill was also the first song, really the only song I've put out that I didn't start with lyrics first. I'm a lyrics first girl forever and always. I'm constantly writing things down in my notes. Actually, this is funny. I feel like they would like to see this. This is my notes app. This is my all lyrics folder. It's 462 notes inside of it. So my voice memos is very similar to that. I'm always writing down one-liners, like I said, small ideas, small song seeds that I later build on, but Hill didn't happen that way. I really desperately needed to write, and I sat down with my guitar. I was fucking around with different tunings, and I found a chord progression that I really liked. I don't really know guitar very well, so I kind of just play around until something feels good, and yeah, I stuck with the chord progression, and then I wrote the first melody, and I was like, okay, I think this is good. And then, I wrote pretty much everything in that one sitting, and then the bridge I wrote day of recording when I was in New York. It was about a year ago today. And the bridge was also pretty natural to write. It all came very smoothly. That's a lie. The first verse had done pretty well on social media, and so writing the second verse was a battle, an uphill climb, which happens to me pretty frequently, but we nailed it down fast. And when I first wrote it in my studio apartment in Boston, I recorded a voice memo of it, and I went into the bathroom. This is when my sleep schedule was like all sorts of chaotic, so I was going to bed around like 5, 6 in the morning and waking up late. And I went to take a shower, and I was playing the voice memo that I just recorded in the bathroom, and I was sobbing in the mirror. Oh, it was funny. But it was like one of the songs that in that moment, on one of those days where I felt like that, I would have reached for a song like that to play. And it was the first time where I was like, oh, I just wrote one that would easily hold me during this moment, so let me just play that, which was really cool. But back to your point about needing to write and that being like an emotional outlet for me, sometimes the need to write comes from a creative block where I just haven't in a while, and I feel stumped, and I'm doubtful of my chops and my talent and my skills, and it's in those moments helpful to write 100%, but most of the time I can just tell. It's like the feeling in your throat right before you cry. I feel that in my whole body for like a week, and then I'm like, oh, I need to write something right now. And sometimes I don't know what it is. In the case of this song, it was exactly that. I didn't know what lyrics were gonna pour out of me that day, and something was bugging me. It was like I had a little gray cloud above my head, and I sat down and I wrote, and I was like, oh. And it was rain then, but it was good. It was a really good feeling.